Not too long ago, I had a video where I made an applique and bling shirt. In today's video, we're going to do something very similar, but instead of using applique, my embroidery design was made with satin columns. Now, big shout out to Patrice of Craftable Things. She has really put this process on the social media map. So here's what I'm going to use. I have a black t-shirt, I have some basting spray, I have some no-show mesh stabilizer. I'll also use a sheet of tearaway stabilizer. I have some rhinestones. These are hotfix rhinestones. Some various tools that I'll talk about during the video. I have my rhinestone template, and then I have some rhinestone transfer tape. In addition, I'm going to use the heat press that you see right behind me. I'll use my 15 needle SmartStitch machine, and then I'm going to use an 11 by 13 inch mighty hoop with my HoopMaster station. I just finished making my shirt, and I had to come back to add to my intro a little sneak peek. Look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? Now we're going to start by getting our shirt ready, and this is a heavy cotton Gildan t-shirt. First, I'm going to go ahead and clean it with a lint roller. And I want to go ahead and clean it anywhere where there's going to be embroidery or bling. Then I'm going to put one piece of no-show mesh stabilizer on the inside of the shirt, and I'm going to attach that with basting spray. The way I like to do it is to spray the actual stabilizer instead of the shirt. Then once I take the shirt over to the hooping station, I have a second piece of stabilizer over there, and it's a tearaway stabilizer. Of course, I'll go ahead and rip off that before I put Tender Touch or anything else on this shirt. So this piece stays forever, and the other one comes off. But my machine does prefer two pieces of stabilizer to stitch these out. So I'm going to go ahead and spray some basting adhesive to this no-show mesh. I do it over a box that I have in my room. That way I keep the overspray from getting on other things. So let me do that, and I'll be right back. Now we're just going to flip this inside out. Then we'll put the no-show mesh down on the shirt, sticky side on the shirt, and then I'm just going to press all over this no-show mesh. And I like to give it a minute or two after I spray it on and press it on. That way it has a little bit of time to bond to the shirt before I flip the shirt back right side out. Now I'm using a HoopMaster hooping station today with a mighty hoop. And you can see I already have my tearaway stabilizer that I was talking about secured into the hooping station. Now this is the front side of the hoop, and I need to pay attention where these things are right here, because that's what feeds into the machine. And I want to feed my shirt onto the machine upside down, so I need to make sure that these are pointed to the bottom side of my shirt. So the last thing that I ran was a tension test because I changed out some of my threads. So let's go ahead and find our design. I'm going to click on Design Management, and that brings up the designs that I have saved to my machine. The design I want is right here, so I'll click on it, and then I'm going to hit this green icon at the bottom that has a flower on it. Now remember I said I wanted this to stitch upside down, and that's exactly what it's doing there. Now, if I hadn't been playing with this design earlier, it would actually come in, whoops, not like that. It would actually come in like that. And then what I would do to get it to flip upside down is I just click on this F until it's in the position that I want it, which is right there. So now I can hit the green check mark. Now let's select our hoop. We're going to go to the frame icon. Then we're going to click on Select Frame. I want the 11 by 13 mighty hoop, so I'll just touch it, and then I hit this green check mark. Now I may adjust my hoop once I get it onto my machine, but for now let's go back and pick our colors. You click right here on the colors, and you can see that the word Seek is flashing, so that's a part of the design that I'm choosing a color for now. I'm going to use a light coral color, and right now I have that on the thread spool holder that's in the 12 position for needle number 12. So we're going to click on 12. Now green is correct for the cross, so I'll leave that. Now let's select the thread color for the third part of the design. Once I have all my colors selected, I can hit that check mark. I have everything set the way I want it, so we're going to click on this pink button and we're going to change it to the confirmation status, or we're going to confirm that we're ready to embroider. So let's go ahead and do what's called framing this to see if I need to move the hoop so that the design's closer to the top or not. And that is way too low. So I want to move the design up, which actually means I'm moving the hoop backwards. I'm going to go with it right there, so now I can go ahead and let the machine know I'm ready for it to stitch out. Now I want to turn this light off because the video is much better with it off. So here we are stitching out the design, and I have this playing in warp speed. But in the middle of the stitch out, I realized that the coral color was looking lighter than what I expected. So I looked up on my thread shelf and I saw this brighter color of coral that would have looked beautiful. Do you ever second guess yourself, or am I the only one that does that? I think this looks great already, but let's take it up a notch or two by adding some rhinestones. So we need to get it out of the hoop. Now remember, I have the extra tearaway stabilizer that's going to come off eventually, but I'm going to go ahead and put the rhinestones on first. So here's the rhinestone template, and I'm going to use some AB coated stones. These are crystal AB coated stones, and they have extra facets in them, so they are extremely blingy. Now, if you aren't familiar with rhinestones, I have a lot of resources on my channel. I show how to make rhinestone designs. I show how to brush them in. I have several videos, so check those out if you're interested. But basically, I am using a paint trim brush, and I'm just kind of going in circular motions, knocking them into the little holes. You can put a lot of extra ones in here. They help knock each other into those holes. Now, I cut this on my Caesar Romeo, but you can use a Caesar cutting machine. You can use a Silhouette, a Cricut, a Graphtec. You can use any machine that'll cut rhinestone flock. Now, once I feel like I have most of the holes filled in with stones, I just lightly sweep the extra ones off to the side or off the bottom. Now, I'm not really pushing down. If you push down too much, you're going to drag some of those stones out. So mainly just using the weight of the brush. So we're going to clean away all these extra stones. Then we're going to take a look at our design, make sure that we don't have any overlapping stones, make sure that we don't have any upside down stones, and make sure that any holes that don't have a stone in them, get a stone put in. So if we look at the design, I can tell that I have all those problems I talked about. I have an extra stone here, and I have an extra stone here. I have some upside down stones, and then I have a hole with no rhinestone in it. So let's pick up this extra stone here and just place it over here in that empty hole. I have a stone up here I can put on, and then another one right here. I still have a couple of empty holes, so I'm just going to go around, look for extra stones like this, put them in the holes, then look for upside down rhinestones. Now, one thing about these scatter rhinestones designs is, and especially when they're larger like this one, it can be hard to tell when there's a stone out of place, a stone missing, and things like that. So just take your time, don't be in a hurry, really inspect it well, and make sure that everything's good before you put your transfer tape down on the stones. And speaking of transfer tape, this is a special transfer tape that can take the heat. So if you have some transfer tape for permanent vinyl, it's probably not going to work with this. It really needs to be a special transfer tape that can take the heat. So I have the shiny side, that is the transfer tape, and then this is just the backing. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the transfer tape from its backing. Then I'm going to take my time, and when I do this I'll stand up, but let me kind of talk through it. So I hold it lightly with my fingers, I have it bent slightly, kind of taco shellish, and then I go down in one swift motion. Once any of this transfer tape touches any of those stones, don't lift it back up. You have to be ready to just put this down. Then after you have it laid down, I like to push on the back of it so that the adhesive side, the sticky side, really bonds to those rhinestones. That way when you take the transfer tape off, most of those stones should stick to it. Now sometimes you're going to have 1 or 2 or 3, maybe more that stay behind. If that happens, I'll show you what you do. If it doesn't happen, I'll still tell you what to do. So I'm just going slow. And it looks like they're all, oh, there's one. Okay, so if you have one that stays in the hole, just lay your tape back down. And actually, the reason it did that is I have an extra stone on there. So let me get some tweezers. So we're looking right in this area. And I think, well, let me see. I think this is the extra stone right here. So let me remove that. Then I can press on the top of that and it should come up. All right, that looks good. All right, let's bring our shirt back out. We're just going to let the letters that are embroidered on there provide basically the puzzle pieces for where the rhinestones go. Now I feel like there's a larger gap on this side than this side, so let me go ahead and adjust that just a little bit. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. One thing, when you're doing embroidery and rhinestones, the embroidery can cause your shirt to contract a little bit, and so that's why when I'm doing something that goes around embroidery, I leave a pretty large gap. That way you have a little cushion between your embroidery and the stones. So now we're going to press this at 350 degrees for 15 seconds. All right, let's peel this and see how it looks. And it looks gorgeous. Look at how beautiful that looks. I'm in love with this. So now all I need to do is turn my shirt inside out, remove the tearaway stabilizer, cut away the excess cutaway stabilizer, and then I'll probably add some tender touch or something like that. So thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and until my next video, bye-bye. I'll do a better job of cutting away the extra stabilizer and adding the tender touch later, because we're getting ready to go out for frozen yogurt and I want to wear my new shirt.